So in a way, NFT platforms are similar to other creator platforms like, say, YouTube. And when you're on YouTube and you're an artist and you want to do a live stream of your music, it will query to see, does this person actually own that music? Or is this, a copyright infringement issue? As far as I know, on NFT platforms, almost anyone can mint anything. And that obviously brings up lots of issues to do with counterfeit NFTs and piracy. And then if we take it one step further, some of these artworks are actually created through code, through algorithms. So as the creator of that, you can almost take yourself out of that equation because it's actually the code that created the artwork in the first place. So it becomes really confusing. But in the case of counterfeit NFTs, what can you do? And maybe that NFT is just been resold. Who should you go to? Should you go to the NFT platform? Or can you go to the creator themselves to get that sort of taken down off the internet?
I think it's good that you mentioned YouTube, because in many ways, the process that you would go through with YouTube, if you found that your content was being used without your permission, is a similar process to how you would probably approach an NFT platform that's listed an unauthorized NFT. A lot of the mainstream NFT platform website terms of service, they'll cover the process by which you can make that sort of a complaint to them, especially those that are registered in the US. They require that you follow the DMCA, essentially the Digital Rights Management Act. And essentially what it requires you to do is to either complete a form or where you're explaining that you're the copyright owner, and then you have to nominate what the infringing content is, submit it as a kind of an official DMCA. And that can be sent to the NFT platform. It can also be sent to the ISP, the Internet Service Provider, as well. And they are then supposed to delist that content. And by delist, though, I mean they'll probably get rid of the listing, but you've got to remember that if this NFT has already been minted, there's nothing they can do about that. That NFT is permanent, it's immutable, it's always going to be on the blockchain. So in that way, it becomes particularly problematic that, so it might not be visible, but you know that the NFT is still there. And then they give the alleged infringer an opportunity to respond to the DMCA notice. And if that person does respond and they say, we actually haven't infringed your content, then you're going to have to pursue another avenue to get taken down. So usually that'll mean then you're going to have to file a claim for copyright infringement in appropriate court. It's probably also worth noting that in the last year, particularly in the last 6 months, we have seen a lot of these kind of copycats NFTs coming about. And also, just artists discovering these NFTs that have been minted based on their content. And what I have noticed is that, some artists, what they will do when they find this has happened to them is they'll take to Twitter and they'll call out that copycat on Twitter. It's got its pros and cons. The pro is it's very cost effective, especially compared to hiring a lawyer and pursuing a lawsuit. At the same time, it's highly risky, and you have to be very, very careful with what you say. You can shoot yourself in the foot, and someone might sue you for defaming them potentially. What seems to be happening, though, is when there is a big call out on Twitter, I have heard of many occasions in which the platforms actually do decide at that point to take the listing down because, they're concerned about their reputation. It's a highly competitive space at the moment with, new NFT platforms popping up every day. And so building that kind of consumer loyalty is really important. So showing that they're kind of acting on this kind of bad conduct is really important for the platforms to do as well. I actually heard recently of this digital art platform. It's called DeviantArt, which has created this free copy detecting AI, and it basically helps artists find misuses of their work online. I'm sure if you just Google DeviantArt and copy detecting AI, you'll find it, but I've heard that's been quite effective too.
Maybe